beer, sports. Find a location at BuffaloWildWings.com.
Flood watches and warnings issued for Western Washington, and we better get used to it.
Basically, the extreme events are becoming more extreme.
Details coming up after Cairo Radio, real-time traffic.
Well, this earlier semi that caught on fire on northbound I-5 at one point caught up 3 lanes, really tying things up from about the Michigan curve, and that's where the backup remains, where only 1 lane is blocked now, so we're going to see some relief here shortly. Still making the drive time right now from Renton heading into downtown Seattle, about 45 minutes. Your southbound 5 drive just got a little uglier with a stalled out semi within the same vicinity of the semi. Again, this is in the southbound direction, lining you up from about Lake City Way towards that scene. In turn, it causes some backups on 520 westbound as you come off the water and getting up to the I-5 merge. And of course, I-90 is a little tied up there at the I-5 interchange as well. It's going to be busy for you southbound on 405, leaving 520 all the way into Chuckwilla. You're going to find that northbound 405 drive to slow down from just after the West Valley Highway out to about Park Drive. Looking at the drive, it is busy, leaving 520 on northbound 405 most of the way into Totem Lake. You start to break free just a little bit, and again, say a little bit, 132nd, and that crash on southbound 167 at Stewart Street has been cleared. Traffic brought to you by Swinomish Casino and Lodge, adding a brand new non-smoking area to give guests a more comfortable atmosphere with updated slot technology. There's now more to explore at Swinomish Casino and Lodge. Cairo Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Tracy Taylor.
Cairo Radio News, 97.3 FM.
Today's storm is just a preview of what we can expect for the rest of the winter and possibly for decades to come.
Over the past 15 years, a certain type of rainfall event has become more common. And that type of rainfall event is one that we're seeing right now. It's called an atmospheric river. Basically, it's the long-duration, multi-day storm.
James Rufo-Hill is a climate adaptation specialist at Seattle Public Utilities. He says a rain rate of 4 inches per day was considered extreme 15 years ago. Now an event isn't considered extreme until it hits 5.5 inches per day. It's this atmospheric river that most often leads to urban flooding and sewer overflows. 2-year-old twin girls have been hospitalized after a massive apartment fire in Everett. The Herald reports the girl's mother was just outside the unit when the fire broke out. A fire marshal who happened to be passing noticed the smoke. He rushed in to save the twins, suffered some minor injuries himself. In all, 3 apartments were damaged. The little girls were last reported to be in critical condition. Governor Jay Inslee is rejecting a permit for a project that would create a large oil-by-rail terminal along the Columbia River. Cairo 7 reports this falls in line with the recommendation of a state energy panel.
Public expressed their opinions about this, that this was not something they wanted to see in their community. So for all of those reasons, this is who we are as a people of the state, and we stood up for the values of the state.
Call it karma. A package thief captured on video stealing packages off the porch of a house in Bothell, then slipping on the mud as she runs off with the goods. It's pretty clear from the video she has badly injured her leg. Her accomplice runs out of a car to help her, then goes back to get the dropped package. The owner says they contain some much-needed medication. A look at your forecasts now.
We'll have areas of rain during the evening hours and overnight, but overall the rain will be tapering from the very heavy downpours during the daytime today. High temperatures only in the upper 40s. I'm Cairo 7 Chief Meteorologist Morgan Paul.
Raining at 50 now in Seattle. I'm Kim Shepard.
On demand with the Cairo Radio app. Cairo Radio News, 97.3 FM. This is the Ron and Don Show on Cairo Radio, 97.3 FM, Seattle Seahawks station.
All right, here we come for tonight's top 5 and 5. It's brought to
police say the father announced that if his daughter continued to be bullied, he would, quote, come to the school with a gun and take care of the kids himself, unquote. The statement was allegedly followed by, quote, it is not a threat. I will come here with a gun. I will take a life sentence for my children, unquote. So the father, Seth, was on with Dory Monson earlier today. He says that he's been talking to the school for over a year about this.
Ever since he started there, it's just been an ongoing bully issue. And we've been to the office more than a dozen times to try to get help for this. We're not the only parents that are having this issue, but I mean, it's just really affecting her. Like, she's starting to isolate, starting to just be by herself, not wanting to eat as much anymore. Like, it's just really, really affecting her mentally and emotionally.
He says, judging by the support he's getting from some in the community, that bullying in Granite Falls is a problem.
If you look at the Granite Falls, like, Anything Goes Facebook page or the Granite Falls School District page where they posted about the incident, you will see from a lot more of the parents in that school district that Granite Falls School District has a long line of covering up bullying, protecting bus drivers, protecting staff and faculty with bullying, that they just sweep it under the rug and nothing ever happens.
All right, did you, and Dory asked him, did you issue a threat?
Did you threaten the kids who were bullying your daughter?
No,
You didn't say anything about a gun or shooting anybody or anything?
I didn't threaten anybody at that school. That's just Granite Falls School District just taking everything I said and just making up what they wanted to say. I would never harm a child, even if they're bullying my daughter.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because when we heard the story earlier, I'd asked the question. I said, well, I can understand the frustration of the father. If you walk in, you're going in, and what he did, if he did that, would be absolutely, it's absolutely wrong. But I understand the frustration. The other day, I met with some school officials, not about my son being bullied, but just doing a check-in. And I had found out that a little boy had asked my son, he's an older boy, my son is really trying to make friends at school right now. And he feels kind of weird. And I know that I remember feeling kind of weird when I was 7 in that age, especially with older kids that are 8 and 9, you really look up to them. And so this 8-year-old had said to him, he said, hey, do you want to be my BFF? And he's like, yeah, I want to be your BFF. He goes, good, you can be my big fat friend because you're a fatso. And there's been kids calling my son, and we just went boarding with my son. He's hardly a fat kid, but he has a little belly on him, don't we all? I mean, I have a little belly on me. So nonetheless, is that bullying or is that a kid just picking on you? I don't think it's necessarily bullying. I think it's a kid picking on you.
Sometimes kids learn a joke and they want to try
Yeah,
to
and
but it could be.
well, that's the real world, though, and I want my son to be able to survive in the real world and to deal with that. He came home and cried, and he felt weird, but you know what? It gave me an opportunity to have a discussion with him, and it gave me an opportunity to hug him, and it gave me an opportunity to love on him, and it gave us an opportunity to communicate together and to kind of talk through that and to be present with one another. So I appreciated that opportunity, and we ended up having a great discussion. This is different. I mean, if you feel like your daughter's being threatened and someone's going to kill her, and you feel like you're not getting action from the school, I thought earlier that the father, this is his first time going in, and even though what he did, if he did this, it's alleged that it was wrong, and now we're finding out that it sounds like he went in over a dozen times, and maybe the principal was hiding out because he was afraid about him coming in. So
here's
he's
the thing.
He's a soldier, PTSD.
Right.
He called into Dory's show, which is incredible, and he said, hey, I did not do those things, and at the same time, he's very concerned about the bullying that he feels is going on in that middle school. And there's parents tomorrow, they're going to walk out, they're going to stage a protest tomorrow. Sounds like there's a lot of parents that are supporting him up there.
He is very well spoken, but I don't believe that he didn't say anything. I think that people don't call the police and then make a statement to the police and get someone arrested if nothing was said. I find that part of the story to not be believable. And sometimes you say something and it gets taken the wrong way, or you said it stronger than you thought you would, or you could say something like, do I need to go get my gun? Something like that, where someone just hears it the wrong way, or it wasn't a specific threat. But I believe he said something that made people in that office uncomfortable, and that someone called 911.
Yeah.
And then if he said nothing, then when the police get there, you go, you know what? I said something. It was this, I don't want to press charges. There's a couple times where you could de-escalate. That didn't happen. So something happened at that school.
Yeah.
However, it appears like he's very beyond the point of frustration when it comes to his daughter. And the school has to be more proactive in terms of bulliers. And if he's really been there a dozen times and he can provide paperwork for that or some sort of paper trail, then this school, I think, is being negligent. You cannot have someone, if it's the same person, bullying a girl over and over and over and over again. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, one thing if it's anonymous, but it sounds like they can identify who's actually doing the bullying. Yeah.
And it feels like, wow, my daughter's getting bullied. I come to her defense, and now I'm going to jail? Like, what's going on with this other case?
Seems like there's more to the story on both sides, doesn't it? That we don't know about. It seems like there's more to this story. So our thanks to Dory Monson Show and Nicole for doing a great job tonight of getting all those great guests. So we appreciate that. Dory Monson doing great right here at Kyle Radio. Here's Tracy, brought to you by OTA. We call it the Online Trading Academy. I'm going to go to class 11 o'clock on Thursday. Maybe I'll see you there, Tracy.
Seattle DOT is
Less you pay it, so you pay it. Then them turning around and giving you some of the money back, and then pointing their finger back at you and saying, okay, I paid you back, give me more money. Exactly the same. Replace car with house, boom. Exactly the same. We'll come back on the Todd Herman Show on AM 770 KTTH with a real experiment, a risk, an unbelievable, scary risk. Producer Jeff has petitioned. He's been petitioning me to have a role in the show. He is a conspiracy theorist. We will premiere Conspiracy Corner with Jeff one time. Does it continue? That's up to you via Twitter and email. So we come back, a huge, huge radio risk. Producer Jeff takes to the airwaves with the conspiracy theory. We'll get to that, then more on this on the Nunes memo, as well as the actual politics of Trump and immigration. The president I may have to eat my words, completely chew them and eat them, in relation to the president playing multi-level chess against the Democrats. I may have to admit that the president did, in fact, play multi-layer chess with the Democrats in his winning. So it's a risky next few minutes on the Todd Herman Show. Let's check traffic with Right Way Traffic.
A semi-fire out. This is northbound I-5 approaching South Holgate Street, but the right lane is still closed up as they mop up. Fire Badger from Bidwell and Field. Stop and go 405 southbound from Northeast 12th Street now. Stop and go out towards 44th Street. This traffic report brought to you by Staples. Staples has low prices on everything your business needs to clear the clutter this year, like bankers boxes, file folders, and storage bins. Less mess equals more success. Visit Staples.com for more. Staples, it's pro time. You're listening to AM 770 KTTH.
Hey, we've got big breaking news on the Todd Herman Show. AM 770 KTTH mobile app is the best source for breaking news from your favorite local conservative voices. Listen to full episodes from Jason Rance and Todd Herman. Get breaking news notifications. Listen to exclusive podcasts. Read the latest stories from KTTH.com. Hey, it's Todd Herman. AM 770 KTTH is always streaming live on the KTTH mobile app. Brought to you by Absolute Return Solutions, your retirement fix. Every time you see the pest people come to your house and spray, I want you to ask yourself a question. Why? Every time they come to your business and spray, I want you to ask yourself a question. Why? Well, here's why I'm asking yourself that question. Is it needed? You can call the people at American Crawl Space Cleanouts, 800-244-9993. They're A-plus in the Better Business Bureau. They're an Angie's Super Service Award-winning company. They are a family business, has been out at 23 years. They've got a different philosophy and a different system. If they find pests in your home, they get up into the attic, they go down to the crawl space and look through the subfloor, clear it out, clean it out, replace the wet, moldy insulation, and then they seal the spaces. Plus, they monitor the spaces to make sure the pests are not returning. It's a different way of doing business and a better one. Call Mike and the team at American Crawl Space Cleanouts, 800-244-9993. It's American Crawl Space Cleanouts, 800-244-9993. Is a new kitchen in your plans?
Ability. Other than that, they are not a service dog.
Now, here's the thing, and this is the part I love. You can approach the owner and say, what task does this dog perform?
And people are allowed to ask the question, what task does your dog perform? And if they cannot tell you what the task is, you can call the police. But we need to start educating the populace that a service dog is not the same as a therapy dog, comfort dog, or your very best friend.
Yeah, there you go. So, Candy, we put this up on our Facebook page, and we're getting a lot of reactions right now from our Facebook friends, right? What are they saying?
It's so great. Tara says, this is my pet peeve, pun intended. I love animals, but man, when you bring your mangy dog into the store near food that hasn't been brushed or bathed in over a year, it's gross. It is not a service dog. It is your fake therapy dog, and we all know it. Please keep your pets out of stores, restaurants, coffee shops, unless they specifically allow them. And then by all means, come on, bring Fido in.
If I'm hearing this representative right, they're differentiating even between a legit therapy dog you wouldn't be allowed to bring in. Even if it's a legitimate therapy dog, is not the same as service dog. I think that's where the misinformation has come about. A therapy dog is not the same as a service dog. When a sign on the grocery store says service dogs allowed, that is a dog that does a very specific task for someone. So, for instance, the service dog that we helped do a fundraiser for a couple years ago carries an oxygen tank. So the dog has a special vest that's made. It carries this oxygen tank around for its owner. And so there's a legitimate service dog. I've heard of other service dogs where a soldier with PTSD has a fear of his back being towards a door or someone attacking him from the back behind. So the dog is specially trained to face the other way and alert the person if they need to go around a corner or if they're in a hallway. Like, that dog is working while the person is out. It's not just somebody that I feel good when I have an animal companion.
Yeah, Lisa writes, the Ron and Don show. Hey guys, love the show. People didn't have a problem carrying a medical marijuana card. My husband carries a medical card from a doctor saying that he has a spinal cord injury, and so he has to give it to airport security when he was walking through. Why can't a dog have a card from a doctor too, and why can't that license be, let's say, on the dog's collar?
I agree. I think that would be a fantastic way to do it, because right now this is clearly being abused.
From the 206, Ron, this is what would happen. Ron, what task does your dog perform? Me. My dog licks my face when I'm about to have a panic attack. You can't prove it.
That's not a service dog. It's a therapy dog. So that's the thing, is people...
Aren't you concerned about someone going into a store, being around people, though, and having anxiety or a panic attack? I mean, usually that's what would give someone a panic attack. When you take them out of their environment where they control it, they're alone, they're by themselves, just with their dog or on their family, and then they end up walking into a Fred Meyer or QFC or Nordstrom or a restaurant or whatever. Well, it's a
therapy dog.
It's a service to you. Well, if somebody had PTSD, though, and they were going to have an anxiety attack, or they were going to have a heart attack, I would want their dog to be with them. I think that is a service. I think that dog's providing a service for someone.
If I'm hearing it right from this representative,
well, I disagree with this is something they're proposing. It's not a law. So I disagree with that proposal in the law.
Therapy dogs should be allowed as well.
Well, yeah, if someone's come back from Iraq or Afghanistan and you've been over there on 3 and 4 tours, and the thing that really gets you going is being around people when you walk into a restaurant, and maybe even... It's kind of
that instance you described, I think, deserves a fully trained service dog.
Yeah, in the same... Well, some people can't afford that. And in the same... That's $25,000 right there. There's people that come back from Iraq and Afghanistan that can't afford a $25,000 dog, let alone they can't afford their medical bills are supposed to be covered, and sometimes they spill over into their own private lives. But in the same way that restaurants used to have areas where you could smoke, why couldn't restaurants have areas where you could take your dog? And really, in Seattle right now, you're not supposed to have your dog inside a restaurant. And there's a place called Norm's, for instance, over in Ballard. And Norm's is all about bringing your animal
And to win the war, they blew up their suns, thinking that this would power down the solar-powered AI. It did not. They lost that war and were forced to evacuate their galaxy for a Goldilocks planet far off in the Milky Way galaxy. That being Earth. That theory also believes that all races of humans were actually created, each on their own planet in this other universe. And there are many more theories out there. Those are a couple of my favorites that I heard for my first few years here running Coast to Coast AM on Cairo FM every night from 10 p.m. on.
All right, your votes will tell the tale. At Toddy Herman on Twitter, email therman@kttH.com. Jeff, let me point this out. That nothing in there got close to answering where we came from. I'll tell you why. Because now you have to answer where the aliens came from. So if you are contending your theory on mankind having arisen from aliens, then you got to answer where the aliens came from. That's what I'm saying.
You're just kicking the can further down the road, right?
No, I'm simply saying that the answer lies within. There's a signature in our cell. We were designed. The DNA is very clearly designed. That's what I'm saying. So I don't think I'm far from disagreeing with you, although I'm a Christian and believe that God designed the DNA. All right, you decide. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on email. Does Jeff have a consistent once-a-week feature on the Todd Herman Show, or are you kicking him to the curb? We'll come back on the Todd Herman Show with the Nunez memo news. A Washington State politician has her commentary on that, as well as the politics around immigration as the president prepares for the speech tomorrow night. We will cut live to the speech at 6 o'clock. Right after the show, we'll do some analysis beforehand, then 6 a.m., Jason Rance takes over. He'll talk about the reaction to the reaction. If you don't want to miss any of this, get the KTTH app. We've made it now unbelievably easy. There are no excuses. Vote with your phone for Conservative Talk Radio. Text KTTH to 98973. We'll send you a link to where you can download the app, listen through your car, through Bluetooth, and wherever you go. 98973 and text the word KTTH. Let's check traffic with Right Way Traffic.
An earlier big rig fire is out northbound I-5 approaching South Holgate Street, so the right lane is still blocked off while they mop up. Fire backed up to Mid-Boeing Field. Stop and go 405 southbound, by the way, from Northeast 12th Street. Very slow crawl out to 44th Street. This traffic report brought to you by Staples. Staples has low prices on everything your business needs to clear the clutter this year, like bankers boxes, file folders, and storage bins. Less mess equals more success. Visit staples.com for more. Staples.
770 KTTH Conservative Talk Radio.
The New Year's here, and what better time is there to get started on that new home builder remodeling project you've always wanted? Give You Build It a call and find out how to get the home you really want by taking control of your own home builder remodel. Controlling your own project is what You Build It is all about. And with You Build It, you can save as much as 30% from using a contractor. Call 1-800-YOU-BUILD-IT today for a friendly, free, no-obligation appointment to find out how. Or visit YouBuildIt.com. You Build It is the best way to build or remodel.
Attend a free online training academy workshop. Text the word backup to 57682 and register for ongoing mail.
revolved around eating food for all the wrong reasons. If I was bored, if I was upset, if I was depressed, boy, I just open that fridge and I'd stand there and eat. And next thing you know, I'm 75 pounds overweight. And so when I went to 30-10 Weight Loss for Life, they taught me to view food in a different way, to look at food in a different way, and to make the changes to lose the weight once and for all. So I've lost over 60 pounds with 30-10. You can do it too. So for a new year, this year, call 30-10 now. 855-843-3010. That's 855-843-3010. Their website is 3010weightlossforlife.com. Go make an appointment now. You will not regret it. Lose the weight in 2018.
Keep up with the conversation.
Sign up for the Cairo Radio Rundown at mynorthwest.com.
Live from the Cairo Radio News Center.
Helping families be more involved when there's an inquest into an officer-involved shooting. An ordinance passed unanimously by the King County Council today would do that, in part by providing the families with court-appointed attorneys to be their advocates through the process. Councilmember Jeannie Colwell says it's a matter of equity.
Many are very low income, and they're not knowledgeable in terms of even what an inquest is and how to go about getting their input into the hearing.
The county executive has already halted all inquests to allow a review committee time to come up with possible recommendations to change the process, which some say right now favors the officer. A fire at a Renton home that sent a woman to the hospital may have been arson. Fire Chief Rick Marshall says neighbors had complained about that home constantly being plagued by squatters, and that appears to have been the case over the weekend.
The occupants of this home had climbed up the power pole, it looks like, and the lines had been cut by the power company to disconnect power to the house, and they had gone up there with a pair of automotive jumper cables and reconnected and re-energized the house.
The woman injured is still at Harborview with potentially life-threatening injuries. Next week, Seattle Public Schools will start participating in Black Lives Matter Week. Teacher Dante Felder says students need to learn about Black history, especially minority students.
A lot of folks, we have too many hidden figures, and our students need to see those hidden figures. They need to know that they're hidden figures. They need to hear those stories so they can survive.
In 2016, around 2,000 Seattle teachers wore Black Lives Matter t-shirts to highlight racial inequality. This year, Seattle is one of many cities